What I'm about to reveal isn't something most men will ever understand. There is a hidden point inside every woman, a subtle trigger she would never admit exists, yet when it's awakened, it changes everything. It shatters her certainty, breaks her defenses, and makes her follow your rhythm without even realizing why. Machiavelli once said, "Whoever controls perception controls desire." Today, you're about to learn exactly how to harness that truth, not through luck, not through lines or charm, but through strategy, precision, and presence. This isn't magic. This isn't manipulation. This is a form of seduction so deliberate, so calculated, so powerful, it almost feels forbidden. Because when you understand it, the game stops being about impressing her and starts being about creating experiences she cannot resist. Every glance, every pause, every gesture becomes a silent language she responds to instinctively. You don't need money, beauty, or rehearsed compliments. What matters is presence. What matters is mastery over energy, timing, and subtle influence. The men who fail are desperate. They talk too much, they rush, they over-explain. You will do the opposite. You will move slowly, calmly, elegantly. You will be the man who seems to exist outside of chaos, the man whose rhythm she unconsciously matches. She notices your gaze, your calm posture, the slight intonation in your voice, the micro-gestures most men never even think about. And in that attention to detail, she feels seen in a way no one else has ever managed. By the time she realizes what is happening, she is already invested. She is already chasing, not because you forced her, not because you pressured her, but because you guided her choice so subtly she believes it was her idea all along. This is the Machiavellian secret, creating desire that feels inevitable, yet entirely natural. Once you grasp it, every interaction, every moment, every word becomes a tool of influence. And from that point, the game isn't just seduction, it's artistry. You don't follow the rules. You write them. The fundamental error, the original sin of the ordinary man, is the belief that seduction is an act of addition. He believes he must add more words, more compliments, more gestures, more money. He is a frantic painter throwing colors at a canvas, hoping a masterpiece emerges from the mess. You will become the opposite. You will become a sculptor. You understand that the masterpiece is already there. Your task is to remove the excess, to chip away at the non-essential until the true form is revealed. Your power comes not from what you do, but from what you choose not to do. You do not rush. You do not explain. You do not seek validation. You do not fill silence. In this subtraction, you create a vacuum, and her curiosity, her interest, her desire will rush in to fill it. This is the first principle. You are not a performer seeking applause, you are the architect of a space she desperately wants to enter. Her entire world is built on a foundation of noise and demand. Everyone wants something from her. Her phone buzzes with notifications, her boss sets deadlines, her friends demand emotional labor. She exists in a state of perpetual reaction. When you appear, you are a cathedral of silence in the middle of this chaotic city. Your energy is not demanding, it is inviting. Your presence is not a question, it is a statement. You are a man who has mastered his own inner world, and therefore, the outer world does not dictate his rhythm. This control is the most potent aphrodisiac known to man. She feels it not in your words, but in the cadence of your breathing, the steadiness of your hands, the unwavering calm in your eyes. While other men are swept away by the current, you are the rock against which the river breaks. She cannot help but be drawn to this stability. She feels, on a primal level, that you are a source of order in a world of chaos. This is not about being cold or aloof, it is about being centered. Your calmness communicates that you have options, that you are not dependent on this specific interaction for your sense of self-worth. It is this perceived self-sufficiency that ignites the first spark of genuine, deep-seated attraction. This process unfolds across several strategic layers, each building upon the last, creating a seamless and almost invisible architecture of desire. The first is the mastery of the unspoken narrative. Before you utter a single word, you are telling a story. Your posture is a chapter. Your walk is a paragraph. Your gaze is the title. Men who fail broadcast a story of neediness. Their shoulders are slightly hunched, their movements are quick and uncertain, their eyes dart around, seeking approval. You will broadcast a story of quiet authority. You occupy space deliberately. You move with an economy of motion, as if every gesture has a purpose. Your shoulders are back, your chin is level, your walk is grounded. You are not trying to be the center of attention, you simply become the center of gravity. She notices this before she even knows she is noticing. Her subconscious mind, the part of her that governs attraction, reads this nonverbal language and concludes, this man is of high value. This man is in control. The second layer is the calibration of your gaze. The eyes are the gateway to the emotional realm. Ordinary men use their eyes in one of two ways: either they stare with a predatory intensity that triggers her defenses, or they look away shyly, signaling a lack of confidence. Both are fatal errors. Your gaze will be different. It is a tool of profound connection and subtle tension. You learn to hold eye contact just a fraction of a second longer than is socially comfortable, not with aggression, but with a calm, appreciative curiosity. This small act short-circuits her social programming. It creates a moment of pure, unscripted tension, a bubble in time where only the two of you exist. Then, you will master the triangular gaze, looking from her left eye, to her right eye, down to her lips, and back up. This is done slowly, almost imperceptibly. It is a nonverbal signal that you see her not just as a person to talk to, but as a woman you desire. And because it is unspoken, it bypasses her logical mind and speaks directly to her primal self. You will also learn to look away, not from weakness, but from a position of strength, as if your attention is a valuable resource that you allocate deliberately. This push and pull of visual connection creates a magnetic field of intrigue. The third layer is the weaponization of silence. Men fear silence because they equate it with failure. They believe a pause in the conversation means they have run out of things to say, that they have become boring. So they rush to fill it with meaningless chatter, questions, and compliments. They expose their desperation. You will learn to love silence. You will treat it as an instrument. When she finishes speaking, you will not immediately respond. You will hold the space for a beat. You will hold her gaze, perhaps with a slight, knowing smile. In this moment of shared silence, something powerful happens. The emotional tension skyrockets. She becomes acutely aware of your presence. Her mind races, wondering what you are thinking. She is no longer a passive participant, she is actively engaged, trying to decipher you. You have shifted the dynamic. You are no longer the one trying to entertain her, she is the one trying to understand you. This intentional silence communicates supreme confidence. It says, I am not afraid of this moment. I am in control. She begins to invest more, to work for your reaction, and in doing so, she begins to chase. Once this foundation of presence, gaze, and silence is established, you move to the art of verbal intrigue. The goal is not to impress her with your stories or your accomplishments. It is to create a sense of mystery. You are not an open book, you are a compelling trailer for a film she suddenly feels an urge to watch. You do this through calculated ambiguity. When she asks what you do, you don't give your job title. You give a response that evokes emotion and curiosity. Instead of, I'm a software engineer, you might say, I build digital worlds, and leave it at that. You answer questions, but you rarely give a complete picture. You speak in statements more than questions. Instead of asking, do you come here often, you observe something unique and state it. You have a certain focus when you look at the art in this place. It's rare. This demonstrates that you are observant, that you see her, not just a generic woman you are trying a line on. You reveal pieces of yourself selectively, creating a breadcrumb trail that leads her deeper into your world. Her imagination becomes your greatest ally, as she will inevitably fill in the gaps with qualities far more compelling than anything you could explicitly state. Simultaneously, you will practice selective validation. The average man is a validation fire hose, showering a woman with compliments about her beauty, her dress, her smile. These compliments are so common they become white noise. They signal that he is impressed by her surface, just like every other man. Your validation is different. It is rare, specific, and aimed at her character, her choices, or her mind, not her appearance. You ignore the obvious. Instead of, "You have beautiful eyes," you wait for a moment when she says something insightful and you remark, "The way your mind works is fascinating." This kind of compliment lands with 1,000 times the impact because it communicates that you see beyond the physical. It tells her that you have standards, that you are not easily impressed, and that your approval is something to be earned. When you finally do compliment her appearance, it will be in a way that feels personal and observed. Not, "You look hot," but a quiet, "That color brings out a certain fire in you." The scarcity of your validation makes it a currency she begins to crave. Now, we enter the most crucial phase, navigating her tests. Every woman, consciously or unconsciously, will test a man's emotional strength. She will poke, she will provoke, she will create small moments of friction. She might disagree with you, make a slightly challenging joke, or mention another man. These are not acts of malice, they are probes sent out to measure the structural integrity of your frame. She is asking, "Are you solid? Can you handle pressure? Or will you crumble into neediness, anger, or insecurity?" The common man fails spectacularly. He becomes defensive, he gets irritated, he starts explaining himself, or he becomes jealous. He reveals his emotional fragility. You will welcome her tests as opportunities. When she tests you, you will not react, you will respond. You will meet her challenge with calm amusement, with a playful smirk, with elegant detachment. If she says, "You probably say that to all the girls," an insecure man would say, "No, I swear, only to you." You will smile, hold her gaze, and say, "Only to the ones who are paying attention." You flip the frame. You pass the test. You do not just maintain your ground, you gain emotional territory. Each test you pass with this unshakable calm solidifies her attraction. She begins to feel a sense of safety and admiration. She understands she is with a man who is not a boy in a man's body, but an actual man, a centered force she can rely on. As you build this emotional momentum, you begin to introduce the element of physicality, but with the precision of a surgeon, not the clumsiness of a butcher. The mistake is to think of touch as a goal. Touch is a tool for building tension and comfort. Your initial touches are light, fleeting, and accidental. You might lightly touch her forearm to emphasize a point in your story. You might gently guide her by the small of her back as you move through a crowded room. These are called compliance touches. They are non-threatening and serve to break the physical barrier and establish a kinetic connection. The key is to touch and then pull away. This creates a small, subconscious loop of desire in her mind. You give a small jolt of connection, and then you remove it, making her want it back. Your touch is never needy. It is never a lingering, desperate grasp. It is a confident, temporary statement. It is the language of a man who is comfortable with physical intimacy and assumes she is too. The rhythm of the interaction is now entirely under your control. You have established yourself as a man of high value, a centered presence who is not easily swayed. You have created intrigue, passed her tests, and initiated a subtle physical dialogue. At this point, her internal state has shifted. She is no longer judging you as a suitor, she is experiencing you as an event. Her curiosity is piqued, her defenses are lowered, and she is actively participating in the dance. She begins to send signals of her own. She will find excuses to be closer to you. She will touch you back. Her laughter will be more genuine. Her eye contact will be deeper, more inviting. She starts to reveal more of herself, not because you asked, but because you created a space where she feels safe and compelled to do so. This is the turning point where seduction stops being an action you are performing and becomes a shared reality you are both creating. You did not force it. You guided it. You did not chase her. You made her want to run towards you. And because she feels the choice was hers, the attraction she feels is not only powerful, it is irreversible. The desire you have cultivated now requires a new level of mastery to deepen and solidify. This is where the artist separates from the amateur. Having sparked the initial flame, your task is to turn it into a sustainable, mesmerizing fire. You do this by mastering emotional resonance and strategic variability. You must become the conductor of her emotional state, not by telling her how to feel, but by embodying the feeling you wish to evoke. When you want to create intimacy, you lower the volume and cadence of your voice. You lean in slightly, reducing the space between you, creating a shared bubble of conspiracy and connection. Your words become more personal, focused on shared feelings and observations rather than a recital of facts. You create a world that only the two of you inhabit. Conversely, when you want to create excitement and playfulness, your energy shifts. Your voice becomes more animated, your humor sharper, your gestures more expansive. You break the intimate tension with a sudden, shared laugh. This ability to modulate the emotional frequency of the interaction is intoxicating to her. It makes you unpredictable and emotionally dynamic, a stark contrast to the one-dimensional men she is used to. You are not just one flavor, you are an entire feast. This leads to the crucial concept of the push-pull dynamic. A constant state of intense seduction is exhausting and ultimately, unsustainable. It creates pressure. To maintain desire, you must strategically release that pressure. After a moment of deep connection, a lingering gaze, or an intimate confession, you pull back slightly. You might lean back, change the subject to something light and impersonal, or even end the interaction for the evening. This is not a game of being hot and cold, it is the natural rhythm of life, of breath itself, an inhale and an exhale. The pull of your focused attention is deeply compelling, but it is the push of your slight withdrawal that makes her actively miss that attention and desire it again. This is where most men fail. The moment they feel a woman investing, they cling. They double down, they text more, they seek constant reassurance, suffocating the very flame they just ignited. Your ability to give her space, to have a life and purpose outside of her, demonstrates ultimate confidence. It communicates that your happiness is not contingent on her, which paradoxically makes her want to be a bigger part of your life. This intelligent absence is more powerful than constant presence. As the bond deepens, you will introduce controlled vulnerability. This is a high-level technique and must be used with precision. It is not about complaining or revealing your deepest insecurities, that signals weakness. Controlled vulnerability is about revealing a small, carefully chosen piece of your inner world that humanizes you and invites her deeper. It might be a brief story from your past that shaped you, a passion you rarely speak of, or a genuine admission of a small, relatable flaw. This must be done from a position of strength. It is not a plea for sympathy, but a gift of trust. You are telling her, I am choosing to show you a part of me that most people don't get to see. This act creates a powerful sense of exclusivity and emotional intimacy. She feels special, chosen. She feels she has earned a deeper level of access to you. This is the moment she transitions from being merely attracted to you to feeling a genuine, protective bond with you. You are no longer just an enigmatic man, you are a real man with depth, and she is one of the few who gets to see it at this advanced stage. Your physical language evolves. The light, fleeting touches become more deliberate and sensual. You now have the permission to be more assertive in your touch, but the elegance must remain. It is the way you place your hand on her lower back to guide her, and let it rest there for a moment. It is the way you brush a stray strand of hair from her face, your fingers lingering for a split second on her skin. It is the way you hold her hand, your thumb gently stroking the inside of her wrist. These are not just physical actions, they are sensory imprints. You are associating your touch with feelings of safety, pleasure, and intense desire. The kiss, when it happens, is not a frantic collision of mouths. It is the natural culmination of everything you have built. It is slow, deep, and controlled. You are not taking a kiss, you are orchestrating a moment. You kiss her as if you have all the time in the world, and in doing so, you make time itself stop for her. The quality of this first kiss will confirm everything she has felt about you, your confidence, your patience, your control. It becomes the physical seal on the emotional contract you have both implicitly signed. After the physical bond is established, the final act of Machiavellian seduction begins: consolidation. The goal is no longer to create attraction, but to make it a permanent fixture of her emotional landscape. You achieve this through unwavering consistency. The man she kissed must be the same man she speaks to the next day. The calm, centered, mysterious man who captivated her must not suddenly transform into a needy, anxious boyfriend. You maintain your purpose, your passions, and your boundaries. You continue to be the architect of your own life, a life she now feels privileged to be a part of. You create shared experiences that become emotional anchors, the inside joke, the favorite spot you both discovered, the song that becomes your song. These are not grand, expensive gestures. They are small, intimate moments that weave your presence into the fabric of her life. You have become her emotional North Star, the fixed point in her turning world. She does not feel trapped or possessed. She feels profoundly, thrillingly understood. She feels she has finally found a man who speaks the silent language of her deepest desires. She did not fall for you because of a trick or a line. She fell for you because you orchestrated a reality more compelling than any she had ever known, a reality where she felt seen, safe, and deeply alive. And she believes, with all her heart, that it was her idea all along. This is the art, the forbidden science of true influence. It is not about what you say, but about who you become. If you are ready to move beyond the superficial and master this silent language of power, subscribe to this channel and activate the notification bell. The knowledge we are about to unlock together goes far deeper, and the next lesson will permanently alter the way you perceive every human interaction. The game is about to change. Make sure you are here for it.